Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Woman Entrepreneurs Podcast. And today I have with me Ashley Miller, owner of Lively and Company. And Lively is located in Delaware, but is accessible from anywhere. You can connect with Ashley and Lively, making it worldwide. Ashley, thank you for being my guest today. How are you?
I am feeling awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a great opportunity.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. And I like to ask two questions to get us warmed up. What is your favorite app on your phone and why?
Okay, so I struggle with picking favorites because it's, depends on the time of day you ask me, but typically the most, I would say, pronounced apps that I use on a regular basis that are just like my go-tos would be Pinterest. I usually go to Pinterest before I even Google something, because it's just a great source to find answers to any kind of pressing question that I have, from like what I'm making for dinner to how in the heck am I going to build that kind of piece of furniture. And then the other would be Facebook, but mainly the marketplace feature. I'm not, I'll share later. I'm just social media and I are still not friends. We are a working relationship, but Facebook Marketplace and I are very well acquainted. I just love going on there. It gives me access to pieces that I otherwise probably would not be able to find, that are such high quality, and that are accessible to me at a very reasonable price. So Marketplace and I are definitely very compatible because it helps me connect with pieces that are just either not made anymore, not sold anymore, or typically just not available in my, direct vicinity.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't even think about that with connecting that with you. That's great. And if you could sit down and have a cup of coffee with a past or present decor stylist, who would it be?
One person that I'm obsessed with, and they're no longer with us, is Milo Bowman. And he was a designer. He actually designed his family home when he was 13 years old. So incredible designer. He has just awesome pieces that are one of a kind. I, in fact, have two original Milo Bowman pieces in my home. They're just in storage because I don't have a grandiose space to put them in, that, like, it doesn't feel appropriate for
Oh,
his
wow.
his pieces because they're just so incredible. They're sexy and stylish, but very functional and easy to maintain. So I wish when he was still alive I was able to meet him. So he's still to this day, anytime that name like comes up, like Milo, my husband's like, Milo Bowman. I'm like, you only know that name because I'm obsessed with him. But the two people who are alive today that I would love to have coffee with, both of whom drink coffee. So it would work out very nicely. Emily Henderson is one of them.
Okay.
Did you ever watch the show, The Next Design Star? It was produced, it was on HGTV. I think it
Okay.
was the same producers as, if you remember The Apprentice, when Donald Trump,
Yes.
right, like, you're fired. So those producers came up with a show called The Next Design Star.
Okay.
And it was a show that the all like no names of people, really, no famous people. They all basically had to compete to get to be the next like interior design professional. And the winner would get their own show and have a line, I think with Target. Anyway, Emily was it was the first show of the whole series, and
Oh,
she
wow.
won it. And she was very quiet and humble. I think she was sick at some points of the show, but she just was so classy through the whole show. Everyone, people are fighting and screaming, and she was just this like poised, calm
Professional.
person. Yeah, and she would make a room look magical, from like a grocery store challenge where you could only buy things from a grocery store to style a room. Like, free. I mean, and the producers did not do a great job that first season.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
the budgets were like $500. They were given like 4 hours. I mean, it was like like no one could do these type of renovations today. But anyway, I love her. I'm on her blog every week, multiple times a week, because anything Emily says is good. I'll check myself and then get the confirmation. Yep, Emily was right. Of course, this is a
There you
great
go.
color. Of course,
I
this is a
like
great
it.
piece. And she really loves reusing things. And so that,
Okay. So that's even more so in your wheelhouse.
I would say another person would be Tamara Day. I don't know if you know her. She's on she runs the Bargain Mansion show
Okay.
on Magnolia Network.
Oh, okay.
Kim and I actually met Tamara a few weeks ago at the Delaware Home Show. She was a guest speaker, and she just kind of came up, like Kim and I were talking, and she just walked up and just effortlessly like joined the conversation. Like we were all
Oh,
just like
cool.
best pals, like sitting there talking. We were talking about outfits, and then it turned into home decor, and then we're talking about home organization. And Tamara's just, standing there with her cup of coffee and like nodding, smiling. I'm like, this woman is like a real this is a real person here. And she
That's
just,
so cool.
right, like just flawlessly, another person, so poised, so classy. And I just love her approach. She appreciates old world things. She doesn't go into these mansions and just rip to shreds every original piece. She just appreciates the artwork and the craftsmanship that goes into a lot of the homes that she works with. And I really respect that about her. So those would be two people that are alive today that I would love to walk our dogs and have some coffee with.
I don't know about you, but I have to have my coffee.
I mean, yes, I'm a decaf drinker, but I'm an avid decaf drinker. So, I mean, I treat it like when people are like, you can't talk to me before my coffee in the morning. I'm like, well, you can talk to me, but I just need my decaf. As long as it's decaf, we can talk. And
Yeah, that's
we'll be good
it.
to go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my, yeah. And coffee has been part of me forever.
Really?
Forever.
Like since adulthood, you've been drinking coffee?
I've been drinking coffee, yeah, forever. So who is Ashley Miller before Lively?
Definitely less bold. I was definitely less bold before starting Lively. If you were to talk to people who know me very well, they would probably share how shocked they were that like I left a 20-year career and took this leap into starting my own company and really taking this risk. I am not a risk taker. Like I am the most conservative person. I stock away money. I like to save. I will rip apart a vacuum that's not working until I find the broken piece, and then I'll find where I can buy that broken piece, and then I'll install that broken piece, and I'll be working that old vacuum, a couple days later. Like I am the person who just research. So like I got stuck in the research phase for way too long, years before I started this company. So definitely less bold, less risky, the kind of me before Lively. I would say that obsession for home decor and construction has always been a part of me. I mean, it always felt like there was this tension between these two worlds I had to pick. Like when I would be grading papers, I would be looking around the room like, ooh, could I knock that wall down? Or like, wonder okay, let me look at the HVAC system. Okay, there's my intake, there's my outtake of I'd be planning in my head as to like what I could be doing in that room. Meanwhile, I'd be grading papers. And then when I'd be, painting a new room or removing walls, I'd be like, ooh, whose paper haven't I got to lately? So there was always that tension, right, between these two worlds of mine where they just kept competing for my time, my creativity, my energy. And it wasn't until like a year ago, I finally saw the light where it was just like, wait, could I actually overlap these two? Like, is there an opportunity where I don't have to pick? Like,
Right.
I can still be the educator and still be obsessed and passionate and creative with this home styling and construction. And so until I had that epiphany, there was always, just self-doubt and just fighting those constant urges of like, which hat am I wearing and how do I keep the passions with the two of them, but they would never, be friends. They would never overlap, at least in my brain.
So with that, did you have other family members that are either in the design or the construction? I mean, you must have gotten that drive and that passion from somewhere along the way.
Yes. So if you were to ask my father, he calls it the Gadamus gene. And that's my mother's maiden name is Gadamus. And so he says it because it's like this thing that all of my siblings and my 8 maternal cousins have. We can't turn it off. Like as soon as we walk into a space, you can just see our wheels turning of like, why did they do that? Interesting color. Oh, wow. I would have probably moved the artwork at least like 3 inches left and raise it up a little bit. Like it's like that lens that we've all just been born with because my maternal grandparents were those people. They were in construction. My maternal grandfather built homes for a living. My maternal grandmother, his wife, did all the designs and the interior design style and the painting and the landscape. She did custom drapes
Oh
and
my gosh.
upholstery. So, so the Gadamuses are, I mean, they're just brilliant people. All my aunts and uncles from my mom's side have all chosen careers in the arts and the trades.
Wow.
But none of my cousins and none of my siblings chose a career in any of those trades. So I kind of felt like it was my job. I don't know. A couple years ago, I was like, I have to do this. I have to be the one child from all these generations that chooses this, this kind of
Path.
passion and love and actually
Yeah.
pursues it to try to create something that maybe has the potential to live on for future generations.
Did you have this passion before you went off to college? I mean, why did you choose the career?
Yes.
So was somebody
Yes.
pushing you into a different path altogether and keep you out of the decor, construction?
Yes, all of that. College was not an option. It was assumed.
Okay.
Both my parents did not, well, I should say my mother did not have anything beyond an associate's degree. And my father went to college by the skin of his teeth. He had scholarships. Academically, it was not his strong suit. And he had athletic scholarships that he was able to actually go to college and get his degrees. Growing up, I always wanted to do construction or architecture. So like my junior high school year, we had to like pick a trade and then find someone in the trade and interview with them and follow them for a couple weeks in their position. And I selected an architect. And when my parents found out, my dad especially was pretty peeved.
Oh no.
He was just like, no, all of your teachers say that you're the best. You're the class teacher. You can lead the lessons. All my friends had disabilities. So it was kind of like, it just fit. I think my parents were just like, no, go to college, be a teacher, like go as far as you can go. Like you can always fall back on your education, like construction, Absolutely. House flipping, interior design. That's a hobby. That's something you can do on the side. But like teacher, everyone says you should be a teacher. That's what you should do. So I started to believe it and I loved it. It will always be a part of me. So I don't feel like I was pointed in the wrong direction, but I wish it was. Now they encourage me very much. They're like my biggest fans. So if you ask them today, they'd be like, oh my gosh, this is what Ashley was meant to be doing. Like, they would just get teary-eyed about like how happy they are for me. But back then there was a little bit more trepidation.
Okay. All right. I was wondering about that, how that worked out. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me about well, it's worked out well so far. So tell me about the name of your company and what inspired it.
I think I mentioned earlier, like it took me a couple years just to come up with a name, which is just terrible because, that goes to speak to my obsession over research and a little bit of perfectionist and, wanting to do something once and not having to do it over fixing things. So I picked a different name and I actually named it after my grandparents. So my grandparents were Florence and Stephen Gadamus. And so I tried the name Florin and Fen as kind of like this cute, like the mashup of the two, the interior design and the construction from a nod to my maternal grandparents. And no one liked it.
Oh no.
Including family members are like, it sounds like a dental company. Like they came up with every reason why we shouldn't love it. And I'm like, but it's crap. And they're like, no, it's gonna
No. Aw.
I mean, people were saying Florin and Phlegm. I'm like, oh gosh,
no.
Right. So it got all the wrong impressions. So I kind of went back to my list of like, I don't know, 5,000 business names, and I was able to kind of dwindle it down. And I came up with Lively. I like word mashups. I kind of like word play. It was just kind of a moment of, what is my brand all about? What is the whole mission of this company? And that's really to help people make wiser choices when it comes to living, home styling, home maintenance, and really just kind of coming up with a word that mashed those up. So Lively is derived from living wisely. So I thought it would be cute. The three I's have a little bit of a meaning, like the first I is the one person who's kind of in solitaire. They don't know what to do. They're struggling to make decisions. And then the two I's at the end is kind of the Lively team coming to join them and say, like, we're here to help you. You're stronger with pairs and you're stronger with us to get you to where you want to go. So it's kind of a visual thing, word mashup thing, and a anti-first try of a business name that, like I said, couldn't even get my maternal aunts and uncles to buy into it. They're like, no,
they didn't. So you've done all this research for flexible decor, correct?
Yeah.
Can you explain what flexible home decor is to our listeners and what separates it from the traditional home styling that, we see on shows like HGTV and Magnolia Network?
Flexible home decor is it's about styling a space, any space, whether you rent it or own it, in a way that makes your future options more approachable for you. So having the flexibility to change, let's say, a color later on. Okay, so let's say you were like, I am obsessed with the color red right now. Like, well, we can even do peach. Peach is the color of the year. Let's say you're like, I'm into peach right now. I'm obsessed with peach. But looking back at your like home decor history, you're like, well, a couple years ago, I liked green. And then a couple years before that, I loved gray. And then a couple years before that, I loved purple, right? So if your color preferences change, well, that means it would be very helpful for you to start making different decisions with that fact in mind that your color preferences are probably going to change again. What could you pick now that allows you to express your love over peach now with the flexibility to change the colors in your space to whatever color you love in the future? So it's just about this conscientiousness of making decisions now that give you flexibility to make changes later. Does that make sense?
It does.
Right.
It does.
I mean, shows like a lot of people binge watch HGTV or like sometimes Netflix has some new shows now about home decor. Magnolia Network has a lot of shows about home decor. All of those shows, whether they're on the background while you're cooking or just kind of going through life, or you're actively sitting there watching it, most of the discussion is around what the homeowners want now or love now, as in like live, like, okay, so you love green now, so that's why we did this green and this green and this green, and you'll notice green, and they're like, yeah, yeah. Or it's like, oh, you love open floor plans, we're knocking all these walls down, yeah, yeah. There's no conversation about, hold on, did you like open floor plans 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago? Okay. So you didn't like it before, but now you like it. So what would have to change in 5 years from now if you go back to what you used to like? How hard would that be to change everything again? It's really a single question. Like, what could we do now to give you the more options later when your taste changes? Just that one question would change the entire dialogue for all of these shows.
Absolutely.
And I wish people were talking about it because we know there's fast furniture. We know there's fast fashion. I mean, they're changing their minds at such a rapid pace. Most of the culture just can't keep up with it. It's just, it's happening so fast.
Right.
Yet we are producing more waste than we have ever produced as a country. So if we're changing our tastes so fast and we know how harmful overproduction and overconsumption is creating for our environment, well, where's the happy medium, right? Like, what is the option in between? Can we have option and choice now without doing so much damage in the future or even today?
Right, right.
Flexible decor, I think it meets both of those, I think, really critical necessities of today, but considers how helpful it's going to be for our future and our future generations. And I wish that was being discussed on those kind of shows, because we have to be having these conversations about sustainability, how we're harming our environment with fast furniture. Like, we have to be having these conversations, because if we don't, we're just going to keep doing the same things we've been doing, and people are just going to be doing what they want to do now, and then they're going to want to change it again later, and then everything's just going to go in the landfills. So
exactly. So let me ask you this though. So when you were starting to formalize in your mind the business that you wanted, your concept, when you were doing research, did you speak to people? Did you speak to others that were, going to be in, getting decor ready for their new home or their apartment? And did you ask that question about, had they ever thought of flexible decor? I mean, had they even heard of it?
No, they never. I mean, I did ask. I still ask every time I talk to a client. Usually the client is connecting with me for just interior design. They don't have the flexible decor approach mindset until I, reintroduce it to them. Like, remember, I'm that flexible decor person.
Right. Yeah.
that you've chosen.
Right.
And when I explain it to people and I walk them through it, or it, just kind of authentically, naturally, organically comes up in a conversation as we're making design choices, So like I have a client, she's like, oh, I really want a blue couch. I'm like, okay, do you love blue? And she's like, well, yeah, I love blue. I'm like, what color was your old couch? Red. How long ago was that? Did you have that couch? Oh, just a year ago. I'm like, oh, you loved red then? She's like, oh, I loved red then. I'm like, you don't like red now? Oh, I hate red now. I'm like, okay, so what kind of couch we pick that's blue now that's not going to be blue later? And she was like, I'm like, because you just loved red and now you don't love red anymore. So like, what happens when you don't love blue anymore? And she's like, well, I would just buy a new couch. I'm like, okay, well, your couch takes 80 years to decompose in a landfill. It's going to outlive you. Do you like, is that important to you? If it's not important to you, it's not important to you. And they're like,
and people don't stop to think about that. In fact, and I hadn't even thought about that because when we had our prior conversation, you brought that up. It's like 80 years.
The couch you see behind me is going to outlive me by another 40 years probably. So like,
that's crazy.
It is.
And people just toss furniture like it's nothing into the landfills.
Look, we don't, it's not a pleasant thought, right? Like we don't actively go around like, oh, how many people we hurting today? And like, how much trash am I producing, right? Like you have to kind of train your brain to think like, hold on. If I were to throw this out, what are the repercussions? Unintended consequences usually. So me just introducing that question to people, whatever they decide, it's what's best for them. As long as, again, it's living wisely, right? Like I just want you to have the knowledge and understanding of your options and you to understand the choices that you're making now are going to impact the choices you have later. If that's important to you, here's how I can help you. If that's not important to you, here's how either other people can help you or how I can help you to an extent, right? So it's definitely not in the forefront of people's minds, I think, because again, like shows that have been on TV for 20, 30 years, they've never put that thought into people's heads. So it never really felt like a choice to them. So I'm trying to change that narrative. Like, no, you have a choice to have a blue couch now or a green couch later. Like you do have a choice. I want to help you know that you have that choice.
And so when you are speaking with your clients and you're telling them they have this choice, how do you explain that to them? I mean, what is their choices? Do you don't continue to buy a new couch every year. So how do you approach that?
There's usually a dance between how much they want to explore that choice now or kind of, blend that flexibility into their home decor over time, right? So I have clients that are like, well, I don't have the money to replace that couch, but the next time I buy a couch, I want one that you can change the color easily, right? So it's kind of that new lens that they've put on their home decor decision making so that in the future, they can start to blend that lifestyle into their home decor.
Right.
Whereas other people, when I go through their choices and I'm like, hey, here are the 3 brands that offer flexibility with color or shape or texture or whatever. So at first it's usually overwhelming for them because they're like, oh my gosh, I have choice, right? Because it's like, sometimes it's nice just to know like you get 2 choices. Or other times you're like, here's a menu of 6 pages for dinner. And you're like, I don't know what to pick. Or like, now I can, make my own dish. Like it becomes too much of a menu, right? That can shut people down. So I try to help people understand first, like what flexibility do you want? Is it color, shape, texture, use, right? So like a sideboard that can also work as a dresser that can also be mounted on the wall for, like a closet or a cabinet, right? Like I try to understand what are their needs now. And I try to look at their past, right? To see like, how often does your taste change? How often do you like to change the color or the layout of your space to then say, okay, here are some brands that really align with what you seem to want. Let's help you narrow down those choices based on those brands that align with what your vision is for your space.
It's such an awesome concept because we don't think that way. The majority of people don't think that way. We don't think sustainability and flexibility, they don't go together in most people's minds. And yet that's what you came up with. And so those were your 2 primary ideas for when you were putting the company together?
I really wanted to provide people the permission to change their mind. If I were to say to you, Deb, for now until the rest of your life, you can only pick from 5 shirts and 5 pair of pants. You must be able to fit in those 5 shirts and 5 pair of pants for the rest of your life, right? Forget the stains and whatever happens to those. Those are your only choices, right? And you're like, of course, that's not how we live. We can change our diet at any moment. We can change, our healthy lifestyle at any moment. We can change our habits at any moment. We can change our outfits at any moment, right? So like, let's just embrace that. Like, let's stop pretending like we don't change our minds
Right.
and actually
Absolutely.
like embrace and give ourselves permission. Like, it's okay to not like red anymore, but we don't want you to have to throw everything in your house away that's
Right.
red because you don't like
Exactly.
it
Because you don't
anymore.
like it anymore.
Right. So
Yeah.
like it's kind of mirroring those two. And I think it was really important that people feel that they have the permission to do it and that there's actually options for them to explore
Yes.
that flexibility. That it's not just like,
Absolutely.
oh, here's a great concept. And it's like, well, now I have there's no brands that support that. There
Right.
are.
No, and there are, and that's why they hire you. Absolutely. Not only that, so when you're working with your clients, you're just not giving them their options. You're just not telling them about things. You also teach. That
Yeah.
happens to come from your background.
Every moment is a teachable moment, from strangers on the road. I'm like, no, you can't do that. That's not okay. I'm going to show you with my vehicle. That's not okay. Which I know it's really not my job to like teach everybody at all times of the day. I don't know how to turn that teacher side off of me. And so when I work with clients, I make that very clear in the beginning, like, listen, I am not the person for you. We're not going to be a good match. If you're just looking for me to give you a list of everything to buy, you're going to see my style, not yours, in your own space, right? You just want to go through the motions, and this is going to be a transactional experience for you where you just hire me, your space looks renovated and fresh and you like it. And then a couple years later, you're like, I hate it. Now what do I do? But I just spent all that money. I'm like, I'm not for you if that's what you're looking for. So
Right.
try to make that very clear. Like, listen, I want you to feel more empowered every time we meet. I want you to feel like less overwhelmed every time we have a meeting or an appointment or just, a discussion. Like, I want you to feel less like you are incapable and more that you actually have the tools to be your own designer. It's just about having someone to kind of filter out all the noise and just help you really see that it's much simpler than you make it in your head. And if
Absolutely.
you're successful in business, you're successful in running your family, you're successful in putting together an outfit, you can do this yourself if you just have someone to kind of guide you through that process.
It's like being a mentor and giving support
Yes,
and then
it
giving
is.
them the tools and the
Yes.
opportunity to take an online class with you or taking the
Yes.
opportunity to have, the time with you for you to explain more in detail, to give them an education on sustainability and flexibility in the whole process. So that's over and beyond from anybody else that I know of that does home decor, and you're more than just a home decor person.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, and I'm not for everybody, right? Like that's some people
And that's
just
okay.
need direction, and that's okay, right? Like,
Yeah.
so as I said, I try to be very upfront with my clients, telling them, listen, this is my approach. I'm your advisor. I'm not your decision maker. I will help you make your decisions. I will help advise you and coach you, but I'm not the person that's going to pull the trigger. It's not my money that we're spending. It's your hard-earned money that
Right.
you are going to be leading and guiding your decisions. So
Right.
I think with my wealth of knowledge and experience, I can help them just filter through all of that overwhelm and noise in their head about what they think home styling is or home
Right.
maintenance is, and just be like, no, these are the only few things you need to worry about right now. And then we'll take the next step. Just like a recipe, right? Like if I were to say to you, here are 10 ingredients for a dish, but I don't give you the sequential recipe steps to follow, you don't know what to do. You could produce something completely different than the person next to you who has the exact same ingredients, right? So
Right.
it's about putting those pieces together for people to say, okay, you have your couch, you have your lamps. Let's just change and alter the ingredients slightly or introduce some new ones, and then let's follow this recipe.
Right.
It's going to you're going to wonder why it felt so hard
Before.
before working with me. And I
Right.
want it to be easier the next time
Right.
so
So,
you
and
don't need to hire me again.
and you're giving them the tools to succeed and feel like they
Yes.
have succeeded in what they've set out to do, and to have a home that people walk in and go, wow, look at what you've done and how and who and where, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's a big thing. So let me ask you this: what's been the highlight so far of Lively?
I would say it was kind of shocking to me. And this is it's a very sad epiphany to have, but in education, I think one of the biggest life lessons that I had to learn just through a lot of struggles and challenges was just that many teachers work siloed, right? They have to just worry about their classroom. It's kind of survival of just, these are my kids, this is my class. I can't worry about other teachers. I don't have time to help them. It's just, you're kind of on your own island. And at times, other colleagues feel like either competition or they're working against you or they're making your life harder because I think it happens a lot in education. And so I never really had a position, even as an administrator, as a professor, where I was surrounded by people who treated me like a colleague, a professional colleague that they wanted to help succeed. I felt like I actually found teammates by leaving 20 years of education and working with people in construction and working with homeowners. And other women in business. It's felt like, oh my gosh, you want to help me? Like, you want to help me succeed? You want to promote me? Like, seriously? Like, I have done nothing for you. And you were going out of your way to try to make my path of starting a business smoother. And I've never experienced that in 20 years of education. It always felt like if it wasn't a person making a barrier for me, it was the system, or it was the culture, or it was the environment, or it was the budget. It always felt like there was just so many people and things I was fighting. Whereas now believe me, I have my battles, but it's not the people, amazingly. It's for the first time in all of my working years, it's not the people who I'm fighting. And it's a very different, very humbling feeling of just, I didn't think that they existed. So that's been the highlight, is just having kind of more hope or renewed hope of like people out there that are just really kind and generous and they want to help. And
Yes.
It's very foreign to me.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that completely. And I do the women entrepreneurs and I do the indie artists, and both communities support each other tremendously, 100%, 110%. And I didn't realize that until I started doing the interviews, and other women entrepreneurs have said the same thing. It's not a competition. Everybody does you may be in the same field, but everybody does or has a little bit different niche, or they do something, or they add on something different from somebody else. So
Yes.
yeah, and we all need that. We all need mentors. We all need that support. We all need to be lifted up by each other, and we don't have enough of that, consistently.
Absolutely.
So I like that.
That's been a major highlight. One of the biggest, I'd say.
Would you change anything from the first time you started your business?
Yes, that list is too long to go over comprehensively. So yes, I would say the self-doubt, I think, has always been an enemy of mine. I have been known to just be a remarkable, optimistic cheerleader for other people. Like, I immediately find things in people that should be celebrated and acknowledged, and I can't do that for myself. And so I wish I was a little bit stronger in that regard before I started this business, because self-doubt is something I actively work to either quiet or, contradict in my head with positive thinking. And definitely the research. I think I'd shared with you, I get stuck in the research phase, and that will postpone so much, right? Like, if I'm like, I just need to research this, and that before I can take the next step, and that can get you stuck for a very long time. So as a researcher, definitely with that background, it was to my detriment with wanting to have all the answers before I took any major steps. And that's, someone like we had talked about, Kim and her wife, Jess. I mean, they're so incredible. Like, their approach, I admire it so much, because they'll just start running and the bridge just kind of forms underneath their feet. And I'm like, I need to build the bridge. I need to test the bridge. I need to re-engineer the bridge. I need to inspect. I need to bring experts to, give me critique on the bridge. And then maybe I'll like send a slug across the bridge and like test the bridge before I like put a toe on it. It's just so expensive.
But now though, you have support. You have the other women entrepreneurs. You have other people in, small businesses that want to help. So it's such a different environment from coming from the school environment to where you are now, which I just think is absolutely wonderful for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So you talked a little bit about Facebook and Marketplace. What other areas do you do promotions on or marketing on?
Instagram and I are still getting acquainted. I have a coach. She's incredible. She's at least gotten me to the point where I don't treat Instagram like it's an enemy. So I am embracing the Instagram approach. I'm still trying to get more comfortable with being on camera and getting out on social media. Again, I think I'm working against the 20 years of just it being drilled in educators' minds of like social media is bad. You stay off of social media. Like you are the staples and pillars of the community, I mean, I remember like having to train teachers in like I would say mid 2000s, like 2008, 2009 about like horrific stories about teachers getting fired, for one post on social media. I mean, it was like the devil. I mean, it was literally like the 4-letter word. So even today, like when I'm on social media, I'm like, are they a teacher? Like, do I know them? I mean, that's terrible. Like, it's terrible. I mean, because so many of my coaches are like, Ashley, social media. And my immediate thought is like, no, bad, like bad girl, like don't do it. Yeah, no. So it's amazing how powerful that is because it between that message ingrained in my mind and the self-doubt and the research, it's just like, I'm amazed I even have one post on Instagram. But if you want to check out my like 30 posts on Instagram,
there you go. That's right.
You can go on there and encourage me or give me feedback, add to my research as to what's working for you or what's not. So
they can find you on Instagram under Lively.
Yep, it's Lively Co. I think it's on Instagram. So it's LIVLIICO. Okay. It's all one word. And then Pinterest, I've been around, I think I was on Pinterest in, 2004, 2005. Right after, of course, I did my wedding, which I wish it was, oh my gosh, it would have helped so much with wedding planning. So on Pinterest, I'm Lively & Co. So you can follow me there on Pinterest.
All right. And you don't do the Facebook, only the marketplace.
So, I mean, I think my Instagram posts sync with my Facebook. That goes to show you how little I know. Like,
yeah, and they do if you do it that way. Yeah. And then your website.
Yes, and my website. There's a contact us. I'm adding my email and my business line there too, so someone can reach out. Okay. But yeah, that's another place where people can find us.
And it's livlii.com.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So what advice would you give someone else starting their own business?
Yeah. So do your research, but don't get stuck. Maybe like set a timeline or set your deliverables. And then once you're there, don't use that as an excuse or barrier to keep moving forward. I definitely have a backup plan. So I've set a time in my mind with my family, if things aren't going to where we expect it to be, we need to implement the backup plan so that things don't go too far off our financial plan or family plan.
Right.
Be realistic with your timeline. I think statistically, I'll give you a little fun fact here. Humans tend to overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but underestimate what they can achieve in 10. So I think because statistically, I fall in line with that statistic, where I'm like, I can do so much in a year, and then it'll be a year in August, and I'm like, I'm not anywhere close to what I wanted to be, right? But then I think, okay, 10 years, hold on, right? If you typically people underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So I'm hopeful for, the next 9. I would say treat your partner like a business partner. I definitely made those mistakes. I think when I started to read about, how challenging it is on a family and a partnership, starting a business, it's just challenging. I mean, it's very similar to when I started my, doctorate degree. It's a family commitment, whether they're getting the degree and you are, or you're getting the degree and they aren't, right? It's a family decision, and it everyone feels the feels, right? Yeah, so I think absolutely understanding and going into the journey of starting a business, that this everyone's invested here, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, we're all investors here. You got to do so much to keep this afloat. Absolutely. So definitely would advise that. I think marketing, I wish, again, as an educator, what? Marketing, educating? No, we don't have to pitch to people that teachers, are needed. And we know every kid needs a teacher. There's no marketing and branding for that, right? So I think that, and then I would say I would highly recommend someone who's starting a business to just network. I think having people skills is very helpful, but again, as an educator, you don't need that skill. That's not, you naturally just your children and your students and their parents become your whole life, and the community becomes your whole life. But networking is not really a priority. And so even whether you're an educator or not going into starting a business, it really is about getting yourself out there, meeting people. You'll just never know who is going to be willing to help you or can, mentor you or just get you and your business to a step that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do by yourself.
So do you attend a lot of networking events?
It's definitely a priority for the next 6 months. I've kind of set a goal to be at an event or hosting an event every month, like once a month.
Oh, wow.
So just to, again, get my name out there, to meet more people.
Sure.
So I've been able to, I was at the Delaware Home Show in March. I hosted my first booth at the Philly Home Show a couple weeks ago. And then I'm going to be a guest speaker at a Moms and Mimosas event in Dover in the next couple weeks. So, and then I have another event in June. So I'm trying to get, get out there more. I mean, I love talking to people. I love listening to people. So it's not uncomfortable for me. It's just finding people who are willing to give me the time and kind of platform to be able to speak to people.
What's your next project or the next thing that you want to add on to your company? When
I first researched the company and I made like a 2-hour video, Deb, of like, what is Lively? And what are some questions? What is the research saying? What is market? And, like, of course I would do this. Like, even my family were like, what are you doing, Ashley? Like, we needed like a 10-minute, like, tell me about, maybe a 60-second. And I was like, no, you need the research behind all of my ideas, right? So this huge, long video, like with me, like camera, like, I mean, it was outrageous. It took me like 6 months to make this. It was outrageous. But the concepts, there was like this 4 ideas, and it was like, I want a TV show that really, or just, some episodes out there to help spread the word of, flexible, sustainable decor. I wanted a brand of sustainable, environmentally friendly and flexible home furnishings. So like, sofas that you can easily change the color, ottomans that you can easily change out the cover, that kind of stuff, but it's using recyclable plastics and minimal metals and those kind of things.
Right.
So that's where I'd like to see us in the future. I mean, I don't know if there's a market on HGTV or Magnolia Network for that kind of show, but I think our environment needs it.
I agree. No, absolutely. I mean, we've done so much damage, we have to start, adding on to making it better. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if all of our mattresses and sofas and, plastic outdoor chairs are outliving us all, like, what is our plan here?
Right, exactly. And I don't think there is one.
This is unsustainable, literally.
Yeah, literally. No, there's
unsustainable. Not. So I'm hoping to have those kind of brands out there and messaging and just kind of platform to be able to help people understand it. Again, it's an option. It's not for everybody, but my goal is to help people understand and recognize and really accept the fact that they have options and choice, and that if they know what decisions are making now and the impact of that, as long as they know what they're doing, then they can't say, 10, 20, 30 years from now, oh, I didn't know I was hurting the environment. I didn't know. Well, ignorance is no longer an excuse anymore with the damage we've caused to our environment. So
absolutely,
you need to know, and you just need to accept that those are the decisions you're making and own it. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
Own those choices. And that's okay. If that's what you're choosing to do, but I want to, help get the message out that there's another choice.
Absolutely. Ashley Miller, owner of Lively and Company. Is it Lively Company?
Yeah, it's Lively and Co. or Lively and Company. Yes. Okay. Again, for the future generations, if they want to take on, there's this flexibility with future choice.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, thank you so much. I have enjoyed our conversation and finding out all about you and your company. I wish you the best of luck, because it definitely sounds like you are on the right path.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Deb. I can't wait to follow you, because you are the inspiration for people like me who have all these passions and hobbies, and it's never really directed intentionally to things. So I'm excited to keep following you, and hopefully this is the start of many years of friendship and mentoring and supporting. So thank you so much for this
Thank you.
opportunity.
I appreciate that. And we'll have to give a shout out to Kim to consciously cleared and oh,
Contained.
and contained. Thank you. Consciously cleared and contained. Kim, we love you.
We absolutely love you. Keep doing what you're doing. And
Jess.
Love goes out to both of you guys. I am
my
so
gosh.
thankful for both of you.
Me too. And I've actually gotten to speak with Jess, and
You did?
I'm interviewing her next week. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't wait for that episode.
So everybody, thank you so much. And we're going to stay in touch.